Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Police Service Board meeting, and I would like to call the meeting to order. Are there any pecuniary interests?
None here.
None known.
Perfect. Delegation? None? On to circulation of prior meetings minutes. Has everybody had a chance to read the minutes?
To pass the minutes as they were.
Perfect. Moved by Lou,
Seconded.
seconded. All in favor? Motion carried. Business arising from the minutes? Anything?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh. Going too fast?
Jen does this.
Perfect. Any council issues or correspondence from council or anyone? None. New business. Over to Chris. Sorry, I should say that. There you go. You can see him now.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
Hey, good morning. I hope everyone's doing good. So just going over the report for September, October. There's approximately about 400 calls for service during that time. In September, there was 638 cruise patrol hours. Marine patrol, which has now come to an end. 158 hours of marine patrol. 17 hours on the bicycles. 282 hours of foot patrol was conducted and 130 of dedicated school patrol hours. Moving to October for patrol hours, again, cruiser patrol hours were 400 hours of patrol. Marine was 61. 123 hours for foot patrol, and then another 89 hours direct with the school patrol. On that. Going through the occurrences for that time too, there was different thefts from the storage unit or Friendship was hit a couple times. Brick enter and theft occurrences there. There was I think a couple of Manlys as well. In September, there was a couple of thefts from the hotel parking lots. So with all those, the businesses, I know Friendship was the one on there was hit a few times, so they were contacted. There's dedicated patrols going on there. There's conversations about just different security things they could do, preventative stuff. So that's all ongoing now. Same thing with hotel parking lots. There's again officers with dedicated patrol hours there every shift, just to combat that. Most of the stuff there was just basically unlocked vehicles or stuff taken from the back of the vehicle, just people at the hotel. And this time of year too, the ride programs have they are ongoing, but they have increased. So there's dedicated rides every shift as well. And along with that too, there was a couple of repairs during the time of this report as well.
It's nice to see those bike hours on there and the foot patrol.
Yeah,
That's good
yeah,
because it gets the officers out, right?
Yeah, it kind of switches it up, right? Something different, and people see that too. So
Yeah,
I
and then they get to meet the neighbors.
yeah.
A little bit later, I want to talk about that for 2024 budget.
Okay.
Just going over the report too. So during this time, from the crime sergeant, it was in September. They got some human remains, historical incident. And again, from crime unit and the street crime unit, there's again the dedicated patrols and reviewing stuff at the storage units. So that's going on. That's been ongoing. From a traffic standpoint. There's a number of folks patrol set up, one being at the hotels, and then again, just after patrols, like I said, at the storage unit place. The 402 again has extra patrol, and just kind of follow up from the backup that was from the summer, and just kind of monitoring that. Because it is from time, it does have time still, even though with the construction being over. School patrols are again, there's assigned every day. Programs are being conducted. And there's four impaired driving occurrences during this time.
Four in the village.
Yep.
And
Yep.
2 the time before, that's 6.
And that could be just like, that's including CVSA, right? So I'm not sure how many, which one.
Oh, it could be coming off the bridge.
Yeah,
Can you look into that and let us know how many are in the village versus how many are coming off the bridge? Cause that's 6 in 2 months, that's concerning.
Mhm.
Can we also maybe just quickly go back, the human remains? I'm not sure if you're able to speak about, is this the incident where they're, like, where we had to have the archaeological work in, it was, like,
Yes.
that's what you mean by historical, it was not a criminal activity, it was,
No, not at all.
okay, good. I just wanted to be,
Yeah, for sure.
Just to throw off construction.
okay, thank you.
No problem. Yeah, and again, with at the time support to the marine unit had switched more from during the summer was everyday patrols and they kind of scaled back things, but again, continuing with regular patrol hours, weekends, during the week, walking the dogs, talking to people, going over safety equipment, so that all continued too. And again, yeah, and there's numerous traffic enforcement occurrences set up at all different locations in the village too, so. And then one, it looks like in September, just one minor incident at the school. An assault occurred on the school bus. That's basically it.
Perfect. Any questions?
Yeah, regarding the foot patrols.
Sure.
And I'm trying to be proactive for 2024.
Yep.
For the summer. Is there any way that we can marginally increase that? Because the visibility is fantastic and it's extremely well received, both foot patrols and bikes.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Mhm.
If there's a way that we can budget it in such a way where we can increase that, I'm not saying by 10%, but by about 5%. I think that'd be,
For sure. Yeah, and I know within our shift, when I'm working, there's people, like, not just people in Point Edward, like officers, and people, they'll come from other areas and they have to like, come here just to do foot patrol. So it's.
waterfront,
Everyone
everything
loves
else,
doing it, right? Like it's
Yeah.
a good spot, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and same with the bikes too, so other officers that are trained will come here. Just go for a bike ride, you know, for the
Yeah,
morning or.
work an hour, whatever, just be visible.
Yeah, it's been a big push on that and I love this.
It's just a suggestion if we can, work out something because. From what I hear, just listening to the people, it's on the waterfront and all the way up to the casino and even in Birdie's. If you, even when they go, if Birdie's having fish and stuff like that, the guy just walks down there, has a bike, just the visibility, just it seems like everybody's more.
Even that, like a couple shifts, just the marine officers, instead of going on the boat, they just walked in the marina and that was a huge deal.
Yeah.
Just before people go out saying, hey, we got your stuff or basically just any questions they had before they do go out, right?
It's received more proactive as opposed to reactive. Like, listen, we're trying to not to give you a ticket, like
Yeah.
smart enough.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Like,
Real. Yeah, I agree.
Good. Anything else? No, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so the community safety and oh, can I have a motion to receive that, please? Lou,
So,
second by Bev, all in favor? Motion carried. Okay, Community Safety and Policing Act. Do you want to talk about this or?
a little bit, and then maybe our guests can join in with the conversation. So the Ontario Association of Police Services Board held a couple of webinars last month. I know Carolyn and I attended. I don't know if anyone else
did not.
did or not.
Sorry.
I printed it.
There's quite a list of requirements or suggestions that they have in terms of rules of procedure, guidelines for conduct, all those kinds of things. I've been in communication with the people who put that presentation on and asked them if there's going to be some kind of a checklist that we could use or any resources that we could use to help us along in that development of all that stuff that has to happen. One of the things was budgeting. Now that budgeting for this group isn't a big deal. It's all part of the municipal budget. We can have some input on that budget, but
Well, I just did in a small way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's not, that won't really affect the budget,
No,
that'll
but you
kind of,
understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's about all we can do because
exactly.
everything is, it's
Yeah.
just a simple suggestion.
Yeah. So I think it's a little bit, I mean, because we are one municipality, we have our own board, we don't have to partner with anybody else, so. I mean, in the Lambton group where there's, I think, 9 municipalities and they have to work together and figure out a budget for themselves. Ours is pretty straightforward. If there's an expense, it's ours. So it's a little bit, but I guess I wonder from Mr. Leclerc, if are you aware of any resources that we could use to help develop the things that we need to do moving
Yeah.
forward?
So just for clarity purposes, when the detachment board's coming into play, are you remaining standalone?
Yes.
Okay, so that's beneficial. That does make it easier. Because the way it's set out, the establishment of the detachment boards is the responsibility of the municipalities, not the current boards. Because there's an expectation that those that are on the current boards are not necessarily going to be on the detachment boards when they're constituted, right? Depending on how the province proceeds. There is a summit. I don't know if you're aware of the summit that's going to be held in February. I believe I'll have to get the exact dates, but I can get that for you and share it. The summit is going to be is being sponsored by the Solicitor General's office. It's being funded by the Solicitor General's office. It's going to be run by the OAPSB and the OACP, and it's going to be specific to the CSPA. So that is probably your best resource that you're going to have coming your way. It's a little bit off, and but I mean, the one thing it does do is it provides a little bit more time for some of the regulations that aren't developed yet to come forward. You know, some of the regulations, like for example, you know, a very important one is the detachment board regulation, and it's not fully completed yet. So that's the best resource I can recommend at this time.
Okay. Thank you very much. That
That's good.
will be very helpful. I think a lot of things like, you know, procedural rules and stuff, we have that for council, and the same rules will, I mean, they govern us now, and I think they'll govern the board going forward as well. So.
And I
Yeah, so-
think the one thing that I picked up when I was on the thing was it was talking about having either an independent place where people could look at our policies and stuff and our minutes from the meeting, but we put those on the village site. And because we're just the village, that's good. Where it becomes an issue is when it's a conglomerate, they got to make sure that the same things are on all the sites.
Yeah.
So that's actually easier for us just
Yeah.
because we're a single entity. But
So-
basically, they're all in here.
The one thing that definitely gives you an advantage is, although I say the municipality is the driver of the detachment boards, because you are an existing board that represents a single municipality, the village of Point Edward, certainly there's no harm in your board being engaged in moving some of that work forward, because when the detachment board comes into play, you're representing the detachment board is representing the same entity basically. Where it becomes complicated is, you know, so I'll give you an example. Essex County is going to have 2 different boards, and so Leamington, Kingsville, Peely, and the Caldwell Nation are all coming together. So right now, 2 of those entities have a standing OPP board, 2 of them don't. So it's about who's going to provide the driver and provide the resources to ensure that a detachment board is able to get off the ground, right? So it's a bit complicated for them, particularly because you now throw in Caldwell First Nations, who has not been at the table, whereas what I see, you have a significant advantage. So I will get that information regarding that summit in February.
We have it here, Ron.
Oh, you do? Okay, great. I highly recommend that as many of you that can attend.
Yeah, it's February 27th and 28th at the Toronto Marriott Airport Hotel.
Yes, that's correct. I won't be there. I'm on a cruise.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe we should bring the conference to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you know you want to come to the Caribbean and do a summit on the cruise ship, I would attend for that. But yeah, it's funny, you kind of throw a dartboard at a dart at a dartboard to pick a week off, a year out, and lo and behold, that's the week I happen to pick. But so be it.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for that input.
No
Awesome.
problem.
Okay, next thing that I would like to add to new business here is, the letter that I had written back in July to everyone about the Highway 402 issues. I did just receive back a letter from the MTO, and it basically said, well, the bridge construction's done, so it's not an issue anymore. Which again, it was 4 months or 3 months after the date that it was brought forward. There were 2 more deaths on the highway out there. I know that they say that it has to do with the bridge traffic, but the trucks are often backed up past Molden. Not often, maybe once a week, but it is very difficult for traffic getting on. I did write back and said, thank you so much for your letter. You may want to look at just increasing the local lane from Indian Road out to Molden Road, or putting lines on the road, or doing something, but it still is an issue regardless. Bob Bailey's office did get in touch with me. They didn't like the response that came from the MTO. So Bob Bailey's asked for a meeting with someone, and Bob's going to meet with them to discuss the ongoing issues as well. So that's kind of where that correspondence has gone. But again, I mean, it was October 5th, I think, or maybe it was the 3rd. It was the day before the bridge was due to open, when there was that accident. There was 2 fatalities and another person hurt, and it seems to it's when the traffic's backed up that people just can't get through, and it seems to be there. And I guess last week they were blocking at the local lane again. So
Same thing happened.
yes, so it's still an issue. It is ongoing. There has to be an easy way to fix it. I feel sorry for your team that has to keep getting called out to move trucks. And again, I don't know, but again, whether they block off a piece where they can't stop there, or they increase a local lane, there's something that can be done. It's just, anyway, so I just wanted to bring that up, what the correspondence was, that I did reply back and just said that I don't think they've done enough. Gave them a couple more suggestions, asked them to reach out and call me if they wanted to talk. I didn't CC the 80 people that the first letter was done. I only sent it to the people who had sent me the letter, because I don't want it to become I'm not trying to make something out of something. I just want a solution looked at and something fixed. And I know that we talk about this all the time, and that you guys are on board.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with everything you said. Like, so yeah, locally too, we worked on a couple of things recently, and right after that, October incident, just to put together stuff, basically looking at stuff for the past 5 years, and our inspector went to Bailey as well. So
Good.
With
So-
respect to the Blue Water Bridge, they just wash their hands of it. They say it's not our problem.
But you know what they did do? They opened that little local lane from Front Street, which allowed access, which cleared things up for the cars though.
It should have never been closed, but
Right.
what happens is you get these road truck drivers that want to, just one starts and he gets all the way through, and all of a sudden he plugs it up. Those guys there should get like whatever fine we had, that's the highest amount, dollar ways, they should get that fine.
They should, but I think one of the difficult things is if, even at Modeland, how do you
That's a
tell
different-
the
that's a
trucks where not to be? So again, there's got to be a no stopping zone or a something, because the trucks don't necessarily know. Like, you can go up and say, sorry, you're blocking the intersection, and they could say, oh, didn't realize, right? Whereas if there's something specific, then you say you're in the spot where you're not supposed to be, right? And that makes it black and white as opposed to gray, because right now it's a gray area. And
It's only, sorry to interrupt you.
No.
Continue. No, it's only, see, I see the signage is there in the proper spots. It's the people who choose to ignore those signs. That's the problem. That's on the bridge side. Back at Molden Road, it's the local traffic trying to get into the bridge lane, the 3rd lane to the left, where it's not easy.
but it's even just me coming back to Point Edward. I can't get from the mall to Point Edward because I have to cut through transport trucks. I have to go out and then come back in. And you gotta cut through to go out, and then you gotta cut back through to get in Indian. And that's where the issue is, because the trucks block that solid road. If the road went from Modeland straight to Indian, you wouldn't have to cut in and out of truck traffic. The other thing to do is move the trucks over to the other lane, and then the cars would have their whatever, and nobody be cutting through truck traffic again. Like there's lots of solutions.
That would be the most expensive solution, moving the trucks over to the left lane.
It would be easy,
Nah, it's not as easy as you think.
no?
No, no. We had this discussion
Yeah.
30 years ago when we
Yeah.
built the bridge.
Anyway, it is still being looked at. Something needs to be done. Lives are being lost, and we don't want anybody's life to be lost. So
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line, what you just said.
So, but yeah, if you guys, I know you guys are continuing to write tickets to the trucks when they're blocking the things, and that's all you can do right now. So thank you for.
What
keeping
about
that.
signage? I'm just throwing this out. I'm just thinking as I'm speaking. What about signage, right? Like 100 meters before Modeland Road saying, do not block entrance.
Well, I suggested painting lines on the road that says no stopping. That's it. Then you can't stop in that area. No trucks in that spot. You stop here, and you can stop there, draw a line, and just so that you have an easy on ramp, and then do it again at Indian, so that no vehicles.
And you'd have
you
to
could
do that Christina as well.
You could do a sign. Well, Christina used to stay in that local lane pretty much, because now you can take the local lane right to the bridge, because they've opened up that inside lane. So Christina's not really an issue anymore now that they've opened the inside lane. So it's only an issue getting from Modeland onto the highway, and then from the highway back on Indian. So those two areas need something, and it could be a sign, but again, you're gonna have to put
No,
the
you have
signs
a
where.
better, you have a better idea with
If you paint the line on the
like
road,
like the chevrons in Toronto, that distance thing.
Yeah.
Some pay attention to it, some don't, but at least there's something there indicating like, what the hell are you doing in here?
well, and again, then if someone's parked on top of that, they have a right, because it's black and white. You're in the spot you're not allowed to be. It's not you could be forward 10 feet or back 15 feet or whatever. If that space is there and they're stopped in it, here's your ticket, bud, and it's big.
I think we should, this is just a suggestion. I think we should rewrite another letter to the MTO. And if we can just get some person to design what you just articulated.
I gave them a picture.
No, I know, but they want someone that has some pinky ring attached to it. Okay, and no offense to you, because you probably do a better job, but they want the pinky ring.
Well, and again, I don't know, maybe I'll talk to Bob Bailey's office, but Bob read the note too, because again, I think that it needs to come from someone higher up than me. I don't think they, who am I?
I think you just keep pounding the point that you're making. I don't think you should back off. You're the chair of this. You're the chair of this. Okay, that's as high as it goes here. Okay, and if you're in association with Bob Bailey and you're working together, you can't get much higher than that combination.
Yeah.
So don't put yourself down. All I'm saying is.
Well, I keep writing.
Well, I'll talk to an engineer friend, see if he'll do something or guide me how to do it properly,
Okay,
and I'll submit it to you.
perfect. That'd be great.
And then as we prepare for the next shutdown, which is May 29th.
But they were backed up last week. And
Yeah.
so it's not even necessarily the thing. It seems to be about one day a week, right? That they're bad.
when they
But
get that far.
again, for the next shutdown, we gotta be prepared for that ahead of time,
And
right?
it's longer because it's 5 months.
So, but again, them opening, there were some good things that came. They opened that inside lane, and that saved, because then you don't have to go through and back at Front Street,
That lane should have never been closed.
right? But it was good, it was opened, so something good did come of something.
That lane was specifically for Point Edward residents.
Well, it's good it's open again. Okay. So I will let you know what the MTO says to me. I will follow up with Bob Bailey's office, just so that we know what I'm doing. And is that all I need to do for that? Yeah, perfect. Financial statements. Doo-doo-doo. Any questions?
We're not over budget.
I know, we're doing good, right?
Did you,
I defer to the,
Do you have any questions?
you did, speak to the OPP about any of their budget requests to
No.
submit?
No,
Okay.
we
I thought you
haven't got there yet.
Okay. There's time. We don't do it till March.
Start working on your budget requests for March for anything that that you may need. Oh, the lights at the police station, did they get fixed? Perfect. Okay, can I have someone move to accept the financials then, since there's no questions? Second, all in favor? Motion carried. Okay,
May I get a copy of that, thing that you have
From the seminar.
from the seminar?
you sure can.
Thanks.
Yep. Next meeting date.
So the next scheduled right now is January 11th. I wonder, so one thing that was talked about in this webinar that we attended the other month or so ago was, agendas need to be put out with this new act. They need to be put out at least a week before the meeting. So I wonder about moving the meeting back a little bit later in the month. To specifically give the OPP time to get the report they circulate every month, get it to us. If we have the meeting, say on the 4th Wednesday of the month, then that gives Chris or whoever's preparing the report 2 or 3 weeks, because they can't start it until the end of the previous month. And then even after that, it takes a few days before they can even start the report, is my understanding. So I wonder about moving the meetings back a little bit later in the month.
Can I make a suggestion? Why can't, like, you did it this week, for example, you gave us the first part, and then when he was ready, you said, I'll get you the next part. Once it's ready in a couple days.
And I could do that too. Yeah.
I personally have no problem with that.
Does that fall in the guidelines of the new act, though?
I'm
We'll
not
have to,
sure.
like, it's big.
Okay, I'll have to read it.
Yeah.
But then the solution is what Jim said, delay it a week,
Yeah.
or push it back a week, excuse me. And then we'll, instead of the 17th to the 25th, so the 23rd to the 25th type of thing.
Yeah, in that.
Ron, do you know if that would be an issue?
So I think if you're gonna include, if it's data or a report that normally is included, that it should be in the agenda. If it's an amendment or it's a late table drop, I mean, obviously those things happen, but if it's something that's the standard procedure, don't forget you have until April before the new act comes in. So you have some time to think about what your strategy is gonna be.
Okay,
Yeah, but I'd like to wait, think about it now.
Mhm.
and put it
That's
in
why-
play Now.
Yeah. And even so the 11th of January is pretty early.
It's tight.
So I think we should move back to the 18th of January anyway, as long as the board's okay with that.
Move to January 18th. And I'll even buy the coffee for January 18th
Wow.
will you?
Wow.
by accident, okay?
Woohoo.
I'll ask my wife for a donation.
I think he's telling me I should have had coffee.
Oh.
Well said, Jim.
Okay, so January the 18th at 9 a.m.
Yes.
Okay. So 9 a.m. on January the 18th is our next meeting. And thank you. Oh, can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Your turn.
Move
Second.
to adjourn.
Perfect. Thank you, Mayor Bev. And thank you, everyone.
All in favor.
Oh, all in favor. I don't think you need all in favor of a motion to end, do you?
Yeah.
I thought you
Yeah.
just needed one vote.
No.
Because what if somebody objects?
Ending?
No, it would, I've never seen it happen, but
We're done, right?
Yes.
Okay.
the red lights.
Thank you, Ron, for coming out.
Thanks,
We
Ron.
appreciate ya.
Thank you.
you.